Hello, 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 hello. It's okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, colleagues online. Can you hear me now? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Fan in Beijing, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so we are delayed. Colleagues from Europe as well. Martin, Christina, and Unag, if you are online, we apologize. We are behind schedule. So we are making a few changes to our agenda. We will start essentially with a discussion with our colleagues in China, given the time difference, and then we'll move to Europe. Will that be acceptable? Martin and
Sure,
colleagues?
sure, no problem.
No problem. Okay. And
I'm
actually, given
Christina.
the behind, we might ask you actually to be synthetic to the extent possible. Christina, Martin, and colleagues. Sorry, I'm giving really the thrust of the Food Safer network, but at the same time, perhaps managing the time accordingly. And Dr. Marwa Badr from the National Food Safety Authority of Egypt has also agreed to basically postpone her presentation. You're going to be Misk al-Khitam, Marwa. You're going to be basically the cherry on the sundae for the end of the meeting. Okay, excellent. So we seem to have recovered our screens. Actually, yeah, it deserves practically an applause. Maybe I'm speaking too fast, but I'm happy because we recovered our screens potentially. So, welcome back to this session of the second meeting of the African Food Regulatory Authorities meeting. This session was dedicated or was intended in the way we conceived the program to enable more conversations between the African continent and other parts of the world. This is stemming from the realization that, of course, food is global and food regulation is managed with a complete collaboration, not only within the continent itself, but also taking into account intercontinental collaboration. And in that vein, we were very fortunate that the Deputy Director General of the China National Center of Food Safety Risk Assessment, Fan Yongxiang, also happens to be the chairperson of the Codex Committee on Food Additives, has kindly agreed to be with us this afternoon in Egypt and this evening in China. And the intent really of the contribution of Fan is to share his perspectives on the importance of collaboration between Africa and other regulatory authorities, specifically with the collaboration with China. Fan, thank you for agreeing to be with us this evening for you. You can see on the screen, so you can African from Egypt listening to you. So welcome again.
Hi.
We can, Fan. Thank you.
Okay, so now I can share my screen, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay, because the connection seems not so good. But it's okay. Can you see my full screen presentation?
Not the full screen. We see simply now we see the full screen. Yes. Yes.
Okay, now I can start. Okay, good evening, everyone. I can see the whole room from my screen. And firstly, I would like to thank Sammy for your kind invitation, and it's my pleasure to be the part of this workshop. Also, as a member of Chinese government food safety official, I also would like to thank all Africa countries for your support. And to China, as my colleague, Dr. Jing Tian, was elected as vice chair in the Codex Alimentarius Commission. And as the chair of CCFA, I can also express it's also for me it's very impressed to me because Africa countries also very active participating Codex Committee on Food Additives, and you contributed a lot. And today my topic will be building a safer future. The main purpose is to share our experience in China on Chinese food safety system, mainly on what we are doing in CFSA. So this is the outline, the importance of food safety and food safety in China, and what we are doing, and what we are trying to do globally, and our vision in the future. So the first slide, I don't think I need to take more time to emphasize the importance of food safety. So on public health perspective and also economic perspective, and food safety plays very crucial role in public health area, and also to facilitate food trade. And we believe global cooperation is very important for both China and other countries. So I remember, I think it's the year before last year, during the CCFA, probably the 54th session in China. We have a representative from Egypt and made a very good speech during the opening of the CCFA, and to express the interest on the cooperation between China and Africa countries. So our vision on food safety area is to strengthen domestic food safety system, ensuring healthier and more sustainable trade practices. And as a major food exporter, China faces unique challenges in ensuring food safety. Strengthening its food safety system is critical for global trade and to maintain the trust of both domestic and international consumers. So our food safety management system is according to Chinese food safety law. According to food safety law, we established a unified system since 2009 for food safety regulation, and for emphasizing traceability testing and consumer protection. So China National Center for Food Safety Risk Assessment, we established after the publishing of food safety law is in 2011. So our role is to conduct food safety risk assessment, basically, and provide scientific advice to support national food safety standards and regulatory policies. And these efforts aim to ensure a safer food supply chain for both consumers and international trade partners. So you can see from this slide the food safety regulatory framework in China. Basically follow the principles from farm to table. So the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs, we call MARA, establishes agricultural product standards and oversees safety at primary stage production level. So for pesticide residues and veterinary drug, the standard setting is the role of MARA. And National Health Commission is the CFSA. We basically report to National Health Commission because it's the public health management authority. So the role of NHC is to conduct risk assessment and collect information by creating the nationwide surveillance network and set national food safety standards. And the CFSA, so we provide technical support mainly to National Health Commission. So at the implementation level, so domestically we have a State Administration for Market Regulation, we call SAMR. And on import and export level, so we have the General Administration of Customs of China, we call GACC. So the role of these two authorities is to ensure food safety enforcement and compliance across the food supply chain and from production to retail, both domestically and internationally. So as I just mentioned, the CFSA was established in 2011, actually, in response to China's growing need for scientific risk assessment in food safety. And CFSA is created under the National Health Commission, formerly the Ministry of Health. So our mission is to enhance Chinese food safety system through evidence-based study and risk assessments. And I would like to emphasize that the CFSA is the first and the only national level dedicated center in China focused on conducting scientific risk assessment for food safety and playing a critical role in strengthening the food safety system. And from this circle picture, show our main responsibilities, starting from the data collection role by risk surveillance. So it's to establish a nationwide system and to collect the data on contaminants and also data on foodborne disease. And based on those data, we evaluate potential hazard by doing risk assessment. And also risk communication is a very important role for CFSA to share information with the public and all relevant stakeholders and policymakers. So based on risk assessment output, CFSA at technical level to develop Chinese food safety standards. And the standards will be published by National Health Commission together with SAMR. So this is a shared responsibility among National Health Commission and State Administration on Market Regulation. Another very important role for CFSA is we are also doing the pre-market approval on novel food, new food additives, and new food related products, for example, food packaging. So I would like to start my brief introduction from risk surveillance system. Currently, from the picture you can see, we have a very big surveillance network around the whole country to collect information both on chemical and microbiological contaminants in food. And we collect information on foodborne disease report through the hospitals and local Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And the traceability network of foodborne diseases was built based on bioinformatics techniques. So we have a very big database on those of data, over 1,600 indicators, 30 million data, and the network covering around 70,000 hospitals and health facilities, including 3,000 CDCs. So at a different level, provincial level and local level. So all the CDCs provide technical support to CFSA. And also we know total delta study is a very important method to study and estimate the intake of various dietary chemical components, including contaminants, nutrients, by a population through representative diet, including drinking water, in cooked and processed ready-to-eat forms. And it is the most cost-effective method for dietary exposure assessment. And CFSA is doing China TDS on behalf of the central government. And from this slide, you can see the food category we are using to do the TDS. And we, because China is also a very big country, so we have different region, different eating pattern. So the North region, South region, they have a different model. So we collect the information from the different region to analyze the different information, the different eating habits. For the time being, we just finished the sixth China TDS to obtain the dietary exposure results of pox, mycotoxins, veterinary drugs, pesticides, harmful elements, and other contaminants from processing. A study on exposure pathways, body burden, and dietary exposure assessment, and their health risk of typical persistent the pox, and study on food chemical hazard factors and their metabolities, and building a high resolution mass spectrometric screen database, and study on correlation between mycotoxin exposure and health effects based on accurate detection methods and identification method for unknown or masked mycotoxins. And finally, to develop food metrics reference materials and carry out international comparison and capability verification. So basically, this is a very brief introduction on China TDS. So on micro risk aspect, so the approach we control the micro risk is to collect the data by our surveillance system on various bacteria and fungi, and along with the AMR work is also very important. We also did a lot of data collection on antimicrobial resistance. So based on those data, we conduct risk assessment, and currently we have published around 20 risk assessment reports on several pathogens and food partnership. So you can see some abstract from CFSA website. We also use the standards on limits of pathogen pathogenic microorganisms in prepackaged food, and to control the food safety at the final products level. And we also aware of the importance of the process control. So we have a general hygienic practices for food production. So it's very similar with the Codex, the GHP standards. So we just use the same idea. For example, the HACCP requirements in these standards to emphasize the progress control system. Here is the example how Chinese government conduct risk assessment on pathogens. So I use the example for Listeria monocytogenes. So we conducted the quantitative risk assessment of Listeria monocytogenes in fresh pork, cooked meat products, and fermented meat products, and ready to eat, and raw salmon. And we developed a risk assessment model, the transmission model of Listeria from retail market to consumers. So based on risk assessment output, and we gave a recommendation to industry and to develop national food safety standards. On chemical risk control aspect, I think the model is more or less same. We collect information through the surveillance system to get the data on contaminants and biotoxins. And also we did a lot of testing and surveillance on the use of food additive. So currently we have finished around more than 100 risk assessment reports. These all can be found in the CFSA website. For example, you can see the risk assessment on cadmium in rice and dihydroacetic acid in food additives, and fumarisin in grains, and rare earth elements in tea, and etc. And we developed national food safety standards to set maximum level for mycotoxins in food, and also the limits for contaminants in food. And the standard form and the system is very similar with Codex. Sorry, I think my food delivery is fine. Sorry, it's my dinner. And I think this picture shows the example what we did on risk assessment on fumarisin, and both on exposure and also on the systematic risk assessment approach. And so CFSA assessed the health risks of fumarisin exposure from major dietary sources for Chinese consumers. The health risk from dietary fumarisin for the entire population is relatively low, and rice and wheat products are the main food sources of this mycotoxin for the entire population, accounting for about 80% of total exposure. And corn and its products account for 15 and 26%. So from the example, we can see and exposure assessment, and what we are doing and how we did the assessment. And also recently, we did some work on food allergen control, data collection from several cities around China. And some people are involved to have a survey to express what is the main concerns on food allergens. And we have a national standards on general requirements for prepackaged food labeling. And you know the most valid method to control the risk of allergen is to have a standards on labeling. So it's same with Codex system. And we use the big 8, same with Codex, to be labeled on the labeling. For example, the shrimp, soybean, crab, milk, eggs, and so on. We also have mandatory standards on the level of the radioactive substances, and we regularly collected the data from the sea, from the soil to see the level of radiation. And the types of food include beverages, seafood, dried fruit, nuts, and fruit juices, dairy products, aquatic food products, processed food, and others. And the purpose is just to handle the nuclear accidents and try to lower the impact of the possible accidents of post on food. And the nutrition is also the part of our role in CFSA. And we get the information by the consumption and survey, and we use the data to support our risk assessment. And you can see all over China, we have more than 500 survey sites, and was conducted on various foods, including infant food, the food and medicine used as Chinese traditional medicines and processed food, and with added sugars and some others. Also, a huge data were collected and analyzed. So these slides show a very typical Chinese style food safety issues, and you know, many Chinese traditional medicine can be consumed as food through a long history, and so we must make a risk assessment to those food and to ensure there is no risk to people's health. But for the time being, it's very important to try to make sure there are some positive health benefit to consumers, and to support our program on health claim plan. And we are going to establish our health claim system by collect scientific research information. And this plan is going to be started from Chinese traditional medicine, because we gained a lot of Chinese traditional medical scientific data, and also some traditional reference can be supported to the health claim system. But we just started this work. The pre-marketing approval is a very important work to us, and because the industry, you know, they are paying a lot of attention to this work. So since 2016, and we have reviewed more than 3,000 dossiers submitted by the appliers. More than 700 products have been approved. And we also published the guidelines for safety review of novel food ingredients from cell culture, and it's very new because it's from the cell like a culture meat. So the Chinese industry is going to start to submit some cell cultured meat to be as a novel food. So we just have those guidelines, and based on the guidelines, the industry can start their apply. And also the requirements for application materials for the safety evaluation of genetically modified microorganisms used in food processing was issued by CFSA, and the scientific opinions and regulatory recommendation on cultivated meat was submitted to the Food Safety Authority. We also are doing a lot of risk communication, both to consumers, also to the policymakers, and to industry. Via various media, for example, the new social medias, and use mobile app, and we use CFSA website as a main gate to get the communication information. Talking about the globally cooperation, we have a very good relationship with the World Health Organization and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. And globally, we signed an agreement with many partners around the world, for example, AFRAF and the German BFR, and in Australia and New Zealand with food science, and also US FDA. And as just mentioned, as the host country of the Codex Committee on Food Additives, and we are playing a more and more active role in Codex area. And CFSA now is leading, I think, more than 10 Codex standards in different Codex committee. I think as probably the last slides, after we are taking the role of the vice chair of the Codex Commission, and we are going to enlarge our partnership with countries all over the world. So because the last month we just had the Codex Alimentarius, the 48th session. In that session, I think we had a very good discussion with the former Africa coordinator, Uganda, and we are looking forward to have more collaboration with Africa countries through a new Africa coordinator, Gambia. So we are planning probably some visit in 2026, maybe to visit Egypt, also visit Africa Union, to see whether we have a common interest on food safety areas in the future. Either on capacity building, what at technical level, the CFSA can provide support to Africa countries and also to exchange information on standard setting and also on risk assessment approach level. So this is just our idea, and we are also working very closely with the Professor Godefroy through his organization. So hopefully we can have as planned, a very successful visit to Africa countries. And if it's possible, we are very happy to have probably a workshop or some training program can be held in China next year. So all Africa countries are welcome to join us. So I think that's all. And sorry, because it's for me it's very late, and I'm going to start my dinner. And I hope my presentation can contribute to this workshop. And I also give my best wishes to you, and wish you have a very, very successful meeting. Thank you. Hi, Sammy. I cannot hear you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to use this one. Can you hear me, Fan?
Yes, now it's okay.
Okay, okay. I think it's working now. Fan, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, you seem to be hearing me. Okay, well, I just wanted to thank you, and I apologize actually for our technical difficulties. I wanted to thank you for taking the time. I know it's very late in Beijing. You haven't had your dinner, so enjoy dinner. But also, I wanted to say that we will take you up on your offer to offer a training for our colleagues from Africa in China in the coming year, in 2026. And we very much look forward to your visit. Dr. Tara is here, in fact, and heard your comments. So we look forward to your visit in Egypt, but also to the rest of Africa in the coming months as well. Thank you again.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
And have a great dinner. Thanks again. Okay, from China, we're moving to Europe. And we have the opportunity to hear about a European initiative funded by the European Union called Food Safer. We have two opinion leaders, Professor Martin Wagner and also Dr. Cristina Fernandez, introducing Food Safer and what it can do to support food safety globally. So we're going to introduce Food Safer very briefly. And then actually we're going to ask Dr. Wagner as well as Dr. Fernandez to introduce the initiative.
Food brings us together. Whether it's a meal with loved ones, a quick bite on the go, or May experience. What if every bite you took felt safer, smarter, and more trustworthy? Every day, millions trust that the food on their tables is safe. But with emerging hazards like new pathogens, chemical contaminants, and global supply chain complexities, ensuring food safety is more challenging than ever. Traditional methods struggle to keep up with these evolving threats. Introducing Food Safer, a groundbreaking initiative funded by the European Union's Horizon Europe program, uniting 19 leading organizations across academia, research, and industry. Food Safer is revolutionizing how we identify, assess, and manage emerging food safety hazards by developing state-of-the-art tools and frameworks. Our aim is to transform food safety in Europe and internationally by hosting a community of professionals who can work together in proactively identifying and managing emerging risks, ensuring a safer and healthier food supply for everyone. At the heart of this initiative is the Food Safer Open Digital Hub, a centralized platform offering access to cutting-edge data and trend analysis, collaborative workspaces for professionals, guidance and training resources, proactive risk management frameworks. By fostering a global community, Food Safer ensures that food safety becomes a shared responsibility. Join us in shaping a safer, healthier future. Food Safer, making food safety everybody's business. Discover more at www.foodsafer.com. Follow us on LinkedIn.
And the Global Food Regulatory Science Society is a contributor to Food Safer through our European representation, FoodRexI in Paris, France. And I have the privilege now to introduce Dr. Martin Wagner, the co-leader of Food Safer. Martin, I hope you can hear me, and
yes,
you
I can hear you.
Actually proceed.
Yes, I can hear you. Do you see my slides?
We see your computer, but not your slides yet.
Okay. Sorry, there's something. Christina, do you hear me, Christina?
Yeah, maybe I can do it
Can
for
you?
you.
Yeah, try to. Could you start to? I have some troubles to start here my slides.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for this
Yeah.
very kind invitation. My name is Martin Wagner.
I need to download them, okay?
Yeah.
So wait a second.
I don't know why I can't start these slides now here. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, she will. Yeah. Martin, I think you will need to stop sharing if Christina is going to be sharing from her end.
Okay, good. I've stopped it now.
Okay, perfect. And actually, Martin, you can introduce yourself in the meantime.
Yes. Yes, my name is Martin Wagner. I'm living here in Vienna, in Austria, and I'm coordinating this Food Safer initiative. And I hope I can briefly show you some outputs that we have achieved in this project. In the meanwhile, we are 3 years on our way, and so 1 year to go. And we have split our presentation a bit in a general overview, and then Christina shows you this digital hub that I would like. Do you see my slides now?
Do you see them?
Yes, if you can go into presentation mode, Christina, that would be great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Okay.
And all is good now. Thank you.
Okay, next slide. So we are a bit hurrying up. I just would like to share one slide with you. The Austrian Competence Center for Feed and Food Quality, Safety and Innovation is the coordinator of this action. And we are a private research, collaborative research center that brings together experts from academics with company partners to provide our industry in Austria, but also in Europe and beyond, with a one-stop shop for a science-driven problem solving. They can address us. We build up a research program with them. They get some extra funding to solve their troubles, their problems, and then we are going along with them. We see the food safety world that is changing in Europe, but in Africa and in a lot of other parts of the world. We see impacts, influencing factors like the 6 that I've written up here. Just to give you an example is, for example, biotoxins that are coming with algal contamination here in Canada. Another example that would like to share with you is like enhanced virulence of bugs. This is from the outbreak in Germany, the enterohemolytic E. coli outbreak, where a new genetic type was finally causing a very unseen spread in young women that was never reported before. Another example, for example, would be new transmission routes, like the study we have done here. In Vienna, we see around 30 million arrivals of passengers every year at the airport. And in 8 months, they had 6 tons of food that was in their hand luggage only. So we're only talking about their hand luggage. This is the foods that were found here in at the airport in Vienna, like duck tongues, eggs, squirrel, rat, bushmeat from different continents and from different areas. So we are in a world of exchange, and I think we are very much interconnected, and that could also bring new emerging hazards to our food production systems. Next slide, please. Like we have been also looking into meat replacers. What is the microbiological profile of meat replacers? I have listened to your presentations. I've heard a lot about novel food, for example. That's, I think, a big issue in a lot of parts of the world. But the microbiological profile, for example, is very different from a classical animal-derived food. Next slide, please. We have started our project with looking in consultation how is a risk or a hazard perceived in that world. We had contributions of 21 partners, and we got very nice reviews from across the world. And we put together a list of hazards that were seen from a very particular perspective. Next slide, please. Here you can take it from that paper that I've been showing to you that appeared in Frontiers in Sustainability. So there have been particular issues raised continental-wise in Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, global agencies. So we have put together these comments and these insights in these peculiarities, and we tried to quantify this the first time on a global scale. From that, finally, just to jump into FoodSafer. FoodSafer has a structure that runs through impact analysis for food system stressors, microbial hazards, chemical hazards, then the digital hub that is going to be presented by Christina, and then also how we can de-escalate and be prepared, increasing the resilience of our food system. This is work package 5. And I only show you very briefly some results, like in the next slide. From work package 1, we were asking ourselves what drivers of change will affect the food system in the future. We would like also to identify, or the aim was to link indicators and databases to these drivers to make it quantifiable. how do these drivers impact on future food safety risk management systems? Because our food safety management systems need to be improved. So capturing a holistic perspective on the food safety, and that work was published all in current research in food science. That gives a very nice overview on that. And from a list of 31 sub-drivers, next slide, please, Christina, we have identified 11 drivers that have a measurable impact on the resilience of the food system through this deep process. So it is social, technical, environmental, political issues that are doing an imprint on the resilience of the system, policies, geopolitical instability, demographics, behavior. The health status in the population is an important driver, the distribution and logistics efficiency, the application of processing technologies, for example, contamination, natural resources, bioprocesses. Next slide. And this is also from that work from Wageningen University, where they then started with categorizing management options. What can we do? Should we either more monitor a hazard, or should we optimize the production system, or should we try to have better strategies, more future-oriented strategies? So these management options are then in a way matched with the indication that a driver gets more important or less important in the system. In work package 2, we are basically working on microbiological issues. And here we're looking into, for example, novel food sources that come to our markets, artisanal products, novel protein products, and others. We're looking into some unexplained phenomena like persistence, emerging foodborne viruses. Hepatitis E was here one of our models, and antimicrobial threats like aquaponic systems. Then this next slide, and this is work package 3. Basically, here we have a focus on mycotoxins, exposure changing to climate change over time. What does it mean when temperatures rise? Which mycotoxins will come to the forefront? What does it mean in quantitative terms? I think this is a primary question around the whole world. What happens with crop pests when the climate change moves on? And what you can see in the next slide, this is matched also with georeferencing, because I think we have to get together these new sources like satellite imaging or other tools that allow us to pinpoint the hazard, the change of a hazard geographically. And here, for example, this was maize in Serbia. And this ample system shows you, this traffic light system shows you, shows you that the green dot, for example, shows that the contamination is below an acceptable level of protection. And the red dots, for example, here in a valley that are above a given threshold. Yeah, an example that we've been looking also is into food fraud, because I think this is also a factor that endangers food production systems around the world. Here, one example done by Belfast, Queen's University Belfast. We have been looking into frauding curcuma and turmeric, to say, not curcuma, turmeric. And turmeric is imported to Europe from all different continents in the world. And one fraudulent substance here is methanol yellow. And for example, we have developed new methods to detect it, also with handheld spectroscopy. And we found that in 5.5% of the total samples, there was a detectable amount of methanol yellow in the turmeric. So not only the safety issue is associated with what we're doing, also the fraud side has been touched by our initiative. So I think, and this is my last slide, we see a lot of checks and balances in the system. Strengths, like we have a very powerful system producing food worldwide. I would say we have a huge diversity of resources, a lot of traditions that help us adapting our system to new challenges. We have the huge boost of digitalization and automation. We have opportunities like that we can increase our production efficiency. We have a huge burden of knowledge in the meanwhile accumulated. But we have weaknesses like there's a huge financial pressure on the system, at least in Europe. We have awareness, political stressors and others that have finally lead to a threat. And this is certainly that new hazards could come up, could violate the safety of our system, and finally lead to a mistrust of our consumers in the system, and finally have a lot of implications. Because I think what we have to do every day, I think in addition to sleeping, is to consume some food and supply our organisms with healthy and sustainable food. So thanks for listening to me. This was a brief intro into FoodSafer. If you are interested in more output, then please follow Christina. All other information is on the digital hub that was also developed in this project. Thanks.
Thank you, Martin. Do you listen to me?
Yes, yes, we do. So
Yeah, okay, thanks.
you can proceed, Christina. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So I will try to be brief with the digital hub. So I will make you navigate through it. So what is FoodSafer? As Martin was saying, it's the world's first specialized community of food safety professionals. Okay, so Martin was presenting briefly the results of the consortium. And apart from those results, I am going to show you what the digital hub is in the scope of Work Package 4. So it's a trusted source of information containing guidelines and advice in relation to the emerging hazards that are posing a risk, such as the weak signals that nowadays we are not tracking them efficiently. Okay, so here you can see the website where you can join us and save it for later, because you could register through the video that Samuel was showing you before, and also there are other videos in the YouTube, even though they are not updated at the moment, because we are going to launch the hub officially February with all the content next year, okay, February 2026. So here you can see the hub at the first site, the different sections that are nowadays working fully. So just to summarize a little bit, the home, which is showing a positive amplification, such as other social media, with the different reactions that we can add to the posts. Okay, so depending on the reactions that you have, and also the different filters that you have on the on the on the home, you will show you will see the content personalized to your preferences. Here you can see, I just want to say that there on the top right there is a wizard where you can always click and it's going to help you to navigate through the hub. Okay, anytime that you click here. So I'm going to navigate this but very fast. Okay, so basically you could edit your profiles with the hashtags that you can see on the top. As I was saying, you can change the language. You can also, this is important because on the top right there is a bell that it's showing you the recent alerts. For example, if someone has replied to a post, you will see it. And also I'm going to pass this very fast because I am sure that you know how this works. And for example, in these three buttons, you could organize the comments. So this is very helpful to organize yourself. And as I was saying, the hashtag. So this is helping the positive amplification of the ecosystem. So you will see the trending topics, and you could choose what are the trending topics for yourself. And this also on the right side, there is the RSS feed, which the news sections that the advisory boards from the Food Safer Consortium chose, such as information coming from the European Food Safety Agency or other sources that are updated daily. So basically, you refresh your website and it's going to be updated at the moment. And it's very helpful because it keeps you updated on the topics that you are interested in. Workspaces. This is for a more private conversation with your colleagues. You can see there are workspaces that are public, other are private. I'm just going to pass this very, very fast. It works in a similar way than the home, okay? But it has more features, such as a repository where you could save information and organize in folders. You could also make meetings through the mural and invite the users from the platform, just the users. And if you want to invite someone who's not in the platform, also you could send them an invitation through the hub. And I'm going to briefly explain the section and then the later one. So this is the network where you can find information from the users, and also connect with them through the email or the chat if they have it activated. Okay, we just want to respect privacy. And you can see that, for example, this is the European Food Safety Authority. If you are working there, then you could add organization and it will go directly to your profile. And you could search people, organizations, and you can see here now nowadays how it looks like. And I'm finishing with this, where you see all the different sections. Also, just want to recognize this one, which is the toolkit, where you will see the different and the data lab, and so they have different links where you could access, and they will redirect you, for example, to the Risk Ranger or the Norman list. And also in the lifelong learning, there is material that have been developed in the scope of Food Safer project, and you will find articles, blogs, databases, guides, infographics. Also we have the data lab with databases and the library, okay? But I'm not gonna go through this. And we just are finalizing one section, which is the signal trends tracker, okay, for the weak signals. So thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed using the platform. Anytime you have a doubt, just click on the question mark. And if you have any other doubt, registering or anything that you want to tell me, here is my email. Okay. And if you have any questions now, feel free.
Thank you very much, Christina and Martin, for your overview. I know actually we rushed you a little bit in time, but I've seen a number of people on their phones. So I'm hoping that actually after your presentation, the number of people that are enrolled on the Food Safer Hub will have increased. That's going to be our metric of a measure. And while you were talking, I actually created a workspace for AFRAF members. So we will be disseminate that later on, and hopefully we will have the best use of this resource. Once again, very thankful for your contribution and wishing Food Safer continued success.
All the best to your conference.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Martin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christina. Talk soon.
Bye.
And
goodbye.
Bye. And with that, we're reaching the last presentation of our session, and we kept the best for the last. And we are fortunate to have Dr. Marwa Badr. She's a senior legal expert for the National Food Safety Authority in Egypt, who is going to be introducing the results of the food systems assessment in Egypt, transforming an assessment into an opportunity. I don't know if I paraphrased that correctly. No, turning evaluation into strength.
Good afternoon. النهاردة أنا هستعرض so if the translation works well, then I will speak into Arabic. If it doesn't, so I can proceed with English. Better? Okay. 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 So today I'm going to present Egypt's journey with the FAO WHO assessment on the food control system. So I need to ask what do you know about the FAO WHO assessment tool? In this assessment tool, did you use it before? Yeah. It was when it was conducted.
C'est le 2024.
2024. So it was last year. Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay. So so it's not working? Okay. So we started the using the FAO WHO assessment tool because we knew how it was important for Egypt to measure its performance for the food control system. It's very important. The national food control system is very important in measuring the performance of the competent authorities for the sake of knowing the progress of the consumer protection and for the facilitating food trade. It was very important for Egypt that this tool is based on Codex principles and guidelines, and that the countries are very flexible to design its food control systems. However, its design, but the most important is that not about the design of the food control system. The most important thing is about its effectiveness and how it operates. So it was very important that we use the FAO tool in order to measure measure how it works, measure how we are using the resources, how they are well used. Also, it's very important that when we measure the performance of the food control system, is that it will have an impact. The impact is on the how the trading, the relationship between our trading partners. how we are using how is the food control system is being used against the codex principles and guidelines. Also, how to know measuring the performance will let us know the gaps and weak points in the control system, and we can identify the priorities where we can improve the food control system. Then the FAO WHO assessment tool are divided into 4 dimensions: inputs, resources, control functions, interactions with stakeholders, and science, knowledge base, and continuous improvement. Here we can see that dimension A covers the legal and policy instruments. Also, the financial resources, infrastructure as equipment, and like laboratories, and also the human resources. Dimension A focuses on these. For dimension B, it covers the control functions and how the competent authorities operate along the food chain. Mainly focuses on the performance of controls on how to control the imported foods, how to import the domestic, and how also controls for on exports. Also, dimension B here, it covers also not only controls, but covers also approaches like monitoring and surveillance programs, and also programs for managing food safety risks. Moving to dimension C, although dimension C, its interaction with stakeholders, it is considered as a non-regulatory approach, but it's very important that they focus on the constructive interactions between competent authorities and how they coordinate and cooperate with each other along the food chain. Dimension C covers the how after the collection of the data and information from the control activities, how is these data are used for the sake of knowing where are we and how we could improve the control activities, and also it has an important impact on the legal and policy instruments. Here we see that the tool has 25 competencies and 162 assessment criteria. So we started so this is the classification of the tool. When we started the assessment of the food control system, it was very important for us to determine the main strategic stakeholders we are going to deal with, because they will participate in assessing the system. So it was very important that we would have them. They were 16 strategic stakeholders and with 40 focal points. As you see here, we have the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Trade, Health, Tourism, Environment, Finance, the National Food Safety Authority, Ministry of Supply, Consumer Protection, Lakes and Fish Resources Protection Authority, and also the private sector were also involved in the assessment. Here we see the Egyptian Chamber of Food Industries, Federation of Egyptian Chambers. So the assessment started with an inception workshop, and 40 focal points were trained on how to use the tool, how to collect the data, and ensuring the quality of the evidence which will be collected and how the information would be provided. And they were trained practically on Excel sheets on how to provide, as I said, the data. And these data and this evidence should be relevant to the assessment criteria. As I mentioned, that we have 162 criteria, and then each competent authority would provide information, data, and evidence for the 162 assessment criteria. This is the template we were using, and as you see that there were like huge information were received. After receiving we did the data collection, which took about 3 months for collecting the data for the 4 dimensions. After that, the FAO consultants, they analyzed, examined these data, and they aggregated all, and it was analyzed. And then after that, these data and information should be validated. So there was a validation mission which was conducted for almost a month. They visited all the competent authorities, food business operators, consumer protection authority, all the authorities. They also visited laboratories. They visited borders point to validate the data which was obtained from different competent authorities. After that, the assessment report was issued, and it was circulated to all the strategic stakeholders, and they had like enough time, I think about a month, to comment on the draft. And if they want to provide any technical comments, or they would provide any evidence to correct any data or any information which was misunderstood by the experts. And then after that, in 1st of September 2024, the final report was issued. These are the scoring which Egypt got. I screened it for the 4 dimensions to know where we are. It was very important for us that to know the progress Egypt did within its food control system, to know the gaps, to know the deficiencies in the system, in order to work on these weak points and to strengthen the system, the food control system. So Egypt did we got like 26 recommendations in the assessment report, and then we made like 10 priorities. On that, we will be starting working on these priorities. And also, we started with phase 1 with 3 priorities that Egypt would strengthen these priorities. So the first one was the National Food Safety Authority, the National Food Safety Policy. It was very important that, because this was one of the recommendations provided by the FAO experts, that Egypt would need to have a national food safety policy and to be developed and drafted by all the strategic stakeholders to put the milestone for the food safety in Egypt. we started in the process of drafting the policy, and we have these guiding principles: coherence, ownership, inclusiveness, sustainability, and optimization. And then the policy would be, as I said, participated by all content authorities and strategic stakeholders, even the consumers and the food business operators. The other thing is that Egypt or NAFSA worked on improving the registration system in the National Food Safety Authority to change from using the paper into a platform where the food business operators can apply for the registration through a electronic platform. And now we have like 12 control departments where they can submit the application through this platform. The most important priority where NAFSA worked on is that NAFSA started the mandates to operate its mandates in 2019, where it handled it took the mandate of exports and imports in 2019, but without taking the part of the domestic controls. Then the National Food Safety Authority started to negotiate and established a national committee with the Ministry of Health to take gradually the domestic controls. We started in August 2024, and we received data from the Ministry of Health. But as you know, that the problem of data is a crucial one, because they might not have all the data for the food establishments and the food business operators. So NAFSA started to communicate with other entities and ministries to obtain the data. One of the interesting things is that we communicated with the Ministry of Electricity, because we discovered that they have all the database for all the food establishments, whether formal or informal establishments. So we obtained the data, and then we made, like NAFSA made an analysis for these data, because in Egypt we have like 2 million food establishments. So how there was like a brainstorming how we would take this mandate with a huge one. It will need like resources, human resources, financial resources, how we would handle this. Then we got support from international experts, where they guided us that why not we would start with the high-risk establishments in order to focus on this, and then we gradually would take this the mandate afterwards with the medium and the low establishments. Here we see that after receiving the data, the food establishments were classified into 6 risk categories. NAFSA did like a very simplified checklist, I think with about 12 requirements as a minimum. And they didn't take the role like a policeman to go to the establishment and to say, okay, you have a violation, okay, I'm going to, you are going to the court. No, they took the mandate gradually as like an advising authority, and to provide some comments on food safety requirements, and to make like an awareness for the NAFSA, because many of the, I wouldn't say most of the establishments, they don't know about NAFSA, but they were trying to do like some awareness for the new role of NAFSA. Then after that, this simplification, we did like a pilot project to start in Port-Said government, and after that, it was extended to other governments. Also, it's very important that there would be like awareness campaigns and sessions for the food business operators to know which is NAFSA and to know also about its role. So many workshops and awareness sessions were held in the chambers of commerce in most of the governorates in order to be aware of the new role that the domestic controls were transferred from the Ministry of Health to the National Food Safety Authority. Also, new inspectors were hired, and they were provided with training programs on techniques of inspections and controls. It was also important that we would make like expanding to the branch locations for NAFSA and to increase the branches all over the governorates. I think that we have 27 governorates. So it's like NAFSA did like an analysis to know the activities and the intensive activities across all the governorates. For example, in Qalyubiyya governorate, we have like very intensive activities regarding the warehouses. So there was like a design on how to, if we have like intensive activities in one governorate, we can have like more than 2 or 3 locations in this governorate. If we have, for example, in Kafr al-Sheikh, export activities relevant to exports, then we would increase these locations. There is something that the inspectors, whenever they go to the food establishments, they had like a sticker or a code to put on the food establishment that this establishment was inspected and visited by the inspectors. This is the priorities where NAFSA worked on, and thank you for listening. And I'm so sorry if I talked a lot. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Marwa, for this great overview. And again, also congratulations to Egypt for having completed this milestone and for the actions already undertaken to implement the recommendations. Do you have any questions to Marwa on this? Okay, I think actually we're getting really late. So in fact, with this last presentation, and considering that we had our AFRAF closed session discussion during lunchtime, I would like actually to contribute to the closing of this second meeting of the African Food Regulatory Authorities Forum. I would like to start first by thanking our host country, Egypt, represented by the National Food Safety Authority, and all the partners for hosting us, hosting the second meeting, and for giving a second start of the African Food Regulatory Authorities Forum, for the leadership exercised by our Egyptian counterparts, but also to all African food regulators who believed in this idea and continue to believe in it, and for contributing to charting a path forward for AFRAF to be an instrument, hopefully an effective instrument of cooperation, coordination between competent authorities in the continent. Just gonna actually check if Dr. Tare is gonna join us for the closing or not. So, just to see if I should continue to speak for the next 5 minutes or not. So, well, I'm going to share with you, because even though I said we had a closed session, but AFRAF also espouses the value of transparency, which is a key value for food competent authority. So I'm going to share with you what was discussed during lunch and what was agreed to in general. Food regulators in Africa present at this meeting took stock of the changes that happened as a result of the adoption of the statutes of the African Food Safety Agency, where the statutes clearly mention the creation of a General Assembly as part of the governance of the agency, but no longer identify AFRAF as such as the General Assembly. And noting the fact that it will take time for the agency to continue to develop and create its own governance, there was a unanimous agreement that there is value for AFRAF to continue to exist and to shape the collaboration and the coordination between African food regulatory authorities. There was even a discussion based on what happened during this meeting as to the areas of focus that would constitute future work for the upcoming period for AFRAF members. It was agreed that work will be developed through 3 working groups. A working group dedicated to risk-based decision-making, and that will cover areas where African regulators may need additional guidance on how they can translate international or regional guidance into what they need to be applied within their own jurisdictions. A second group would be dedicated to offering guidance on how to develop regulations to support food innovation in innovative ingredients, functional ingredients, and claims. And a third working group would be dedicated to capacity building, almost dubbed as the AFRAF Academy, as was proposed by our colleague from Algeria. There was also a discussion about the AFRAF governance, which will be further discussed offline between regulators, and a proposed governance will be agreed upon by members who were present. But it was also emphasized that given that the forum now has become a members-driven forum, African food competent authorities would need to subscribe to the idea and to choose to be part of it, considering those who were present here as the members that have already committed to it. Obviously, what was agreed will be further discussed, will be put in fact in writing, and will be submitted to the consideration of the leadership of each food competent authority and each food jurisdiction that was represented at this meeting for endorsement, and hopefully giving a stronger direction for AFRAF to be an engine of food regulatory cooperation in the continent. One last point that I cannot omit to mention is the importance that was given by African food regulators who expressed their opinion at this meeting, that we strengthen the collaboration and the coordination between AFRAF as a grouping of food competent authorities and other structures of governance in Africa, and particularly the Coordinating Committee for Africa, chaired by the Gambia. With that, I believe that I summarized most of what was agreed to, hopefully. I'm going to give the last word of conclusion to, or perhaps Dr. Baya, if you have any addition. Did I forget something? Probably. Yes, please. So as Dr. Ba said, that we appreciated, so this is coming really on behalf of the food regulators in the room and who were present at this meeting. There was an expression of appreciation to all the partners who contributed to the forum, and the need to continue to drive forward such collaboration. Thank you very much, Dr. Ba. And with that, Dr. Tara, if you don't mind saying a few words of conclusion, and we will be closing the meeting.
أولا يعني أنا بشكركم جميعا. Thank you for all. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your share with us, your knowledge, experience, etc. I switch to Arabic to my colleagues first and back to English. زملائي اللي موجودين في القاعة، يعني يمكن أنا هاخد من كلام بروفيسور سام. إحنا لما بدأنا مع Sam without and Celine also type project idea I think in 2023 كان يعني الناس بتقول ان صعب ان احنا نبتدي القصة دي. ويمكن امبارح انا قلت ان لما جينا فكرنا في مصر، فكرت في المتحف الكبير كان في الستينيات، حطينا حجر الأساس في 2002، افتتحناه في 2025. I mean that is the idea for the Grand Museum, Egyptian Grand Museum, starting in 1965-66, and we put our first stone in 2002. And finally, we opening the museum in 2025. Since because the project is huge, you can imagine we transfer the Ramses II from the square to the museum in 12 hours for 22 kilometers. In 12 hours, I think speed 5 to 6 kilometers per hour. And then we start to build the building. 100 piece, 1,000 piece from our Egyptian ancient, 5,000 piece for King Tut. So when you talk about this story, I think this is the idea once we start to think about the AFRAF. Okay, we start in 2023. 2024, we run the first virtual meetings, and this is the second, the physical. Next year will be the third one. Okay, will take a time? Yes, will take a time. But let us to start, because we cannot escape. Let us to start. Maybe the second generation will come to complete our activity, but in the end, we start. Switch to Arabic. الفكره لما بدانا في 2023 ما كانش حد مصدق ان احنا ممكن نعمل حاجه زي كده. يمكن خالد كان موجود معانا، وسيرين وسام وإيلي والناس دي كلها. والناس يعني انا فاكر ان احنا لما بدانا نشتغل كان اول ما بعتنا للناس عشان تيجي كانت معايا مروه. يمكن قعدنا حوالي بعد ما ارسلنا الانفيتيشن حوالي اسبوع ما حدش بيرد علينا، فاعتقدنا ان احنا خلاص يعني مش هنكنسل الموضوع. وبعدين في الاخر لقينا ان الناس ابتدت تيجي، ودخل معانا شركاء في التنميه كتير يعني حقيقي نذكرهم: يونيدو، طيب، جي فورس، فاو، كل الغرف، غرفه الصناعات، المجالس التصديريه اعتقد ان والغرفه التجاريه. فوصلنا للي احنا فيه ده. انا شايف ان احنا عندنا فرصه كويسه جدا ان احنا نكمل الاجيال اللي جايه، complete our activities for the next generation and coming generation. We are not working for us, we're working for the next and coming generation. Once again, thank you for your coming. Enjoy. I don't know how many hours before you leave, but this is squeeze the time by Sam. But anyway, next time we have a time in next June. I think in first week or second week of June will be the huge forum. أتمنى إن على مدار اليومين تكونوا استفدتم يعني حتى بلقاء الأشقاء والإخوان من أفريقيا. Thank you for your coming. Thank you for enjoying us, Chris. We'll miss you. Okay. I can give you the speech for the second, because to introduce the project to our colleagues here, you, Sreen, Khalid, Marwa, and all the team from the Tayyib do the best for us, and also I appreciate to you and your team here and in US. So please, your word.
Wow, I had no idea I was getting up here. Thank you to Dr. Tarek, to NAFSA. I will try to I'll give a quick summary of the Tayyib project. In 2018, the project Tayyib was designed. It was funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture to take this new entity that was formed here in Egypt that I think consolidated 16 different entities, something like that, into one singular food safety regulator, which was an amazing opportunity to streamline so many things that had occurred over the years. And the project was largely designed around strengthening the workforce and modernizing regulations, imports and exports, controls, and overall trying to support Dr. Tarek and NAFSA to be, kind of leading regulators, both here in Egypt and abroad. It was originally designed to be just a 5-year sort of intervention and a partnership between my team and Celine's team. We got some additional funding that allowed the project to go on for about 7 years, where we were able to expand to get, Celine needed the help, ISO, the laboratory accreditation for the Safaga lab. Yes. And that's the first accreditation of the laboratories here, right? And so, yeah, we were able to then move into to partner with NAFSA to strengthen the capacities of some of the laboratories, which you all know better than I do, how important that is for a functioning food control system. I'll leave it at that. There are many other, I'm not a regulator, obviously. I come from the private sector, sort of. But there are a lot of entities out there that are willing to partner with G-Force, with AFRAF on a capacity building. And so you're not alone. I know the world's a little topsy-turvy at the moment, but there's a lot of organizations and expertise willing to partner and hold hands and work together to collaborate to strengthen overall food supply. So with that, I'll hand it back over. Sam, do you want to close, or Dr. Tarek, do you want to close? Not me. Thank you.
Well, once again, thank you to NAFSA for your kind hospitality, your generous hospitality, and all the partners that enabled to host this meeting. Thank you again, Sam, for and all to the entire Tayyib team, Celine, Khalid, Marwa, the entire team essentially, for having been at the inception of the first meeting of the African Food Regulatory Authorities Forum. And we are truly privileged to continue the work and the journey with our colleagues from Africa. I would like to say a few short words on behalf of the Global Food Regulatory Science Society. You have the commitment of our organization representing essentially food regulatory scientists from around the world to continue to work with you towards strengthening food control systems in Africa in the manner that you envision it. And of course, I cannot close this meeting without thanking you, all regulators, for your commitment, for your participation, and also to thank the entire G-Force team here present. So without whom we would not have been able to do this. Both essentially the team here present in Cairo, the team present in Canada, and the team present in Tunisia that supported the broadcast. To you all, I wish you even for a short period of time, a great stay in Cairo, Egypt. All the best.